They all look. Let me show you what we're catching, and you can guess where we're at. You're right. Lake Pleasant out here today, and we finally made it up here to do a striper show. So this is what these babies look like, and I'm sure you'll see them jumping. These are what you got to be careful, because these things will get some hooks in you. You can see the lure I'm using is pretty big. It's a gunfish. It's the biggest gunfish they make. But these things will tear up. Will tear up your baits. But I'm sure we might get some bigger ones, but that's what they look like right there, and make great fish tacos. In fact, we're going to keep a few of these to harvest them. Just this size is perfect, you know, the 2-pound size. So, all right, so let me put this back in the live well. And as you can see, we're up at Lake Pleasant. It's the hottest day of the year was yesterday, 115 degrees. I was at Bartlett. Today we're at Lake Pleasant. So, should be interesting. They're feeding all behind me. In fact, while we're talking, David's going to be showing you all these terrific strikes we get here on these stripers. This is really going to be a fun show. So this is a walking bait. Let me show this to you first before it gets all tore up. This is your typical gunfish, and you can use about anything. I've got a bunch of things tied on that I'm going to show you how to catch them. I put this big one on just to try to get a big fish to hit this thing. And I can just walk this. You just got to find out what cadence they want. Sometimes there's so many fish jumping you don't know which way to throw. Now, there's a lot of baits that are different. I've got whopper poppers on. I got about everything on here. Swim baits on. So probably the swim baits might be the best. So what I do is I kind of just, well, they're looking up here, look at that. Just stripers everywhere, just far as the eye can see. Sometimes though you can throw out without a boil and they'll come up and actually hit it. So if you can get to a fish as soon as he boils, that's when you can get one. And they're all over the place. You can see the boats are starting to come up here. There's one over there and one over there to get in on the action. And a smaller bait might be a little bit more because the shad are real small. Sun's gonna be just a, oh, he missed it twice. Oh, he came back and got it. Oh boy. But when you get them on, they fight hard. They are a fun fish to catch, I'll tell you. You can have a blast out here. It's pretty, the water's real clear. You get an idea of what these things, beautiful fish. They all look to be about 2-3 pounds, some 4. Some of them get up to 6-8 pounds. Some of the guys are saying they're catching. Let's go ahead and, what I like to do is I like to get the net and bring them up, and so they don't trash your boat. They're not like a catfish, but they do. They're hard to get out sometimes, I'll tell you. They destroy your feathers and your baits, and your poles. That's just a hair bigger than what we had last time, but they sure do fight a lot. Man, that one's just a little bit bigger. They feel heavy, they're chunky. You get a good slab of meat off of these. Make some good fish tacos. There was no fish jumping. I was just working my bait back and forth and he hit it. Came up for a second try and missed it. Well, let's try it again. One thing about using a big bait, boy, I tell you, when they hit it, they grab onto it. Boy. They still seem to be coming up further down, so we're going to kind of take the trolling motor and get down to a real active area where there's a lot of fish jumping. There's a live hit. Oh boy. Not a giant one, but you know what? It's a fun one. These are the ones you hope to get off, you know, up by the boat. Come on, guy. They have got some sharp dorsal fins. He already just sliced me open. Yep. Well, I tell you, you got to be so careful. That's the only thing with these things is taking these hooks out. They will cut you open. Ah, come on. Got one out. Got both of them out. Now let's let this guy go. See that one? He missed it. Missed it again. Ooh, there's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, no. Boy, they fight so hard. They're so much fun to catch. Let them quit jumping a second. Man, these guys really can, you can see their back fins, how sharp those are. Look at that, those are needle sharp. So you want to be really, really careful taking these out. That's probably a pretty good eater right there. All right, got to get busy. There's some good ones out there jumping. This breeze might help a little bit too. All right, there's some a big one that just jumped way out there. Whoops. Come on, you can have another try at it. There's one right there. So neat to, you don't know how they can miss it, but they do. Just simple walking the dog, just like you do for largemouth. Every once in a while you'll catch a largemouth doing this, but Like I said, they don't appear to be in large schools. They appear to be in singles, one or two, chasing shad. So you don't get very much of a crack at hitting these things unless there's a lot of them chasing at one time. You know, all I'm doing is working this bait, and it's a walking bait. Like I said, it's a Zera spook, a small Zera spook, and it's bone color, and all I'm doing is just walking this thing along the surface. It looks like an injured minnow that, you know, was hit and is traveling on the top. So we're just gonna walk, you know, you just kind of reel a little bit and then jerk your rod back there, you know, like this. And that makes that lure just kind of go ch-ch-ch-ch. And it's got a lot of BBs in it, a lot of sound. We also could take a smaller swim bait, because the shad are only about this big. They're not very big. And we could just throw that out. I'm seeing on my graph that the fish are down about 5–10 feet, but the water's so clear, and with these BBs, it kind of gets them to come up. We'll just make a long cast. And the wind came up too. I don't know if that hampers it a little bit, but it might help the swim bait bite a little bit. We'll keep making a few more casts with this, just to see if we can get one to come up. Oh, he came up right after I threw out. Way right over there. Like I said, you need a reel that can cast a long distance, you know, put a lot of line on there. I've seen too many guys with not enough line on their reels, guys. You got to fill that up to on bait casters to make these things really cast. I take some of these guys out and they only have their bait casters halfway full, you know, and so they can only cast like 20 feet. So make sure that baby's, you know, if you're just a beginner and you're out here just trying to catch somewhere and you live in Peoria on the west side, this is a good lake to come up here. I came up, this is up in the no ski area, at the upper end of the lake, more or less. If we kept going, we would go into the river. So not being here for a year, you're wondering, where do you go? Well, I just remember from the years past, I used to come here, so we just drove up the lake and we were looking for the fish coming up. And we came all the way up to the river part here, and then we saw all these fish chasing shad up here, so that's where we ended up staying. So we covered the whole lake coming up, just looking for the splashes and the jumping. And this is what we ended up with. Got one. Yeah, these are little guys. Oh, we got a little guy on here. Oh, he's not as small as I thought. He's a little bigger than I thought. Got him on a big bait. Okay, now comes the operation. Well, that came out. Come on. Man, their mouths are really super tough. Fish. Took him 3 tries, but he took it. Boy, folks, they're fun to catch, I'll tell you. Oh yeah. I thought they were smaller than this, but they're not. They're a good 2 pounds. Get a nice little fillet out of these little guys. Oops. Maybe I don't want to break another rod. I'll just lift him right in the boat. Come on. Come on. There we go. Thank you. We'll throw that one in the live well too. That's a nice, just a nice eating size right there. Probably should take as many of these as home as you can because you know, they need to get them out of the lake. There's so many millions in here. So we'll throw him in the live well. Oh, we're on to another one, folks. You know, you never know if you're gonna get a little tiny one or a big one. So right now we must be into the little tiny ones. They are jumpers. Let them jump. Let them kind of settle down just a minute, and then you can dig this out of their system, out of their skin. There you go. They are pretty though, aren't they? Look at that. They are pretty fish. These, a lot of people want to know how these stripers got into Lake Pleasant. When they built Lake Pleasant and they added the new dam and they had the CAP coming in here, what happened was those stripers, the canal sucked up all the eggs and stuff over at Lake Havasu. This is where the water comes to fill this in. This is just a holding tank, more or less. So it came into Lake Pleasant, the eggs, because they had screens in there to block the fish. And they came in, and now we have tons of stripers in here. We usually just have white bass, but you can't keep the eggs out of the screen because you can't build a screen small enough to do that. So stripers have been in here for quite a few years now, 10, 15 years. And like I said, they're fun to catch. If you clean them, there's a little red stripe down the middle of them when you clean the fillet. Just cut that out. That's a bloodline. You don't want to be eating that. It doesn't taste good. You can catch plenty of stripers to, you know, take that out, and then you won't have to eat the bloodline. So they're pretty easy to fillet. They're just like a largemouth bass or any kind of fish. And if you get those bigger ones, those 3, 4, 5 pounders, then you can get a pretty good fillet, you know, maybe that thick and maybe that long. So you can, a lot of guys say they make fish tacos out of that. And so I grill them on the grill, use some spices, and just fix them that way, and they come out great. Oh yeah, another fish. So they're not even jumping right now, guys. They quit jumping, but I'm just throwing this gunfish, and it's got a lot of BBs in it. It's just like a Zara spook. Oh boy, this one's giving me a fight. Oh no, I got 2 fish at one time, folks. Check this out. Look at this. This is what you call lucky, huh? Getting 2 at a time. One on the front hook, one on the back. When I was reeling in the one fish, there was a hook on the other one, and the other one came up and ate it because he was jealous. Look at that. Oh, you know what? We had 2 species here. We had a striper, and this is actually a white bass. This is the other species that was in the lake, which is just a white bass. Looks like a striper, but it's just a white bass. Now these have a lot of meat on them too. These suckers have some gill plates that are really nasty. There we go. So we're going to keep this because we're going to do little live telecast, but that's what the white bass looks like that. Kind of like a striper, still has a striper, but look at these fins. Those things, you talk about a catfish, these fins are needle sharp. And these gill plates right here, man, that'll cut you open right there. That is sharp. So now we got stripers and white bass. Same lure, topwater, gunfish. That was a good one. Oh yeah. This one's pulling pretty good. Oh boy. He's not real little. They look pretty when they come in, that's for sure. Hit that big old lure. I'm waiting until another one comes around and steals the bait, and I don't see any of his buddies around. Let's bring him in. Here he comes. And let's just hoist him right in the net right there. I let him get a little bit tired out this time. So, oops, lift your toe up, Dave. This one. Whoa, easy now, easy. We don't want to have you digging any hooks out of Dave out of my thumbs. So you can see the difference. Look at how big that bait is, but it looks like a fish. Got a little cup on the front, you know. Walks. All right, you get to live and swim. We're not going to eat you. There he goes. Oh, look at this guy. Now that's a small one. All right, folks. Here we go. I get him to stop. We're at Lake Pleasant, striper fishing. This is a really baby that we've caught. That's the smallest one. So with this, we're gonna close this show. And we want to thank you for tuning in and watching all our videos.